big hitter, someone who can speak for Europe but who needs to understand Britain. Oh look, here's Tony Blair, who just happens to be giving a speech about the EU. This as the search is on for the next president of the European Commission, days after many voters all over Europe blew a raspberry in the direction of Brussels.
These election results matter. They are a wake-up call to Europe and to Britain. They point to a deep anxiety, distrust, and alienation from the institutions and core philosophy of Europe.
Only last week he met Germany's Chancellor Merkel to talk about the future of the EU. But today in London he insisted he wasn't after any job.
No, I am not a candidate. Don't get my position mixed up with this. That's not going to happen.
The EU's leaders are trying to agree who should replace this man, José Manuel Barroso, as top Eurocrat. The leading candidate is Jean-Claude Juncker, who was Prime Minister of Luxembourg for almost 18 years. David Cameron says he's too much a Brussels man. Two other possible candidates are Ireland's Enda Kenny and the Lithuanian President, Dalia Grybauskaitė. With the Tories facing a by-election challenge from UKIP this week, David Cameron is talking up the need for the EU to change, as he did on his fourth visit to Newark.
My view is simple. We need people running these organisations, whether it's the European Council or the European Commission, or indeed any other part of Europe, that get that understand we need a flexible, open, competitive Europe.
On his last visit to Brussels, the Prime Minister told Germany's Chancellor Merkel that Britain would move closer to the exit if the wrong man was to get the top EU job. Today, she said she wasn't indifferent to that danger, but
I am working to ensure that Jean-Claude Juncker gets the required majority in the European Council and that he becomes the next president of the European Commission.
Slow.
Tony Blair's allies insist he's not on manoeuvres, but memories are long in Westminster.
Manoeuvring George Bush's arse.
Talked of for a top job in Europe, and the horror it could have caused to the then occupant of number 10.
Picture the face of our poor Prime Minister as the name of Blair is placed in nomination by one President and Prime Minister after another. And then the awful moment when the motorcade of the President of Europe sweeps into Downing Street. The choking sensation as the words Mr. President are poured out.
They're not laughing now as they must decide, if not Blair and not Juncker, who? Nick Robinson, BBC News, Westminster.
Scum.
President's efforts to tackle climate change and to reduce air pollution. The energy industry will have to reduce carbon dioxide emissions by 30% by the year 2030, with the individual states deciding how to achieve that. Options include forcing more than 1,000 coal-fired power plants to be more efficient or to close. Political and business opposition is strong, some saying that it could cost the US economy $50 billion a year. But some activists are saying that the action, in any case, is too little too late. As our science editor, David Schuckman, explains.
A coal mine in West Virginia, the top of a mountain blasted away. This is how America gets its coal. A few years ago, from the air, I saw how the mines destroy whole landscapes. But coal keeps the lights on, generating nearly 40% of America's electricity. But it's dirty and blamed for exacerbating climate change.
Fucking chemtrails.
Barack Obama promised to
It's
tackle
fucking
it 6 years ago.
This was the moment when the rise of the oceans began to slow and our planet began to heal.
Today, his administration unveiled its boldest move so far, clamping down on burning coal.
This is not just about disappearing polar bears and melting ice caps, although I like polar bears and I know about melting ice caps. This is about protecting our health, and it is about protecting our homes.
There.
But in areas where coal is a big part of the economy, there's fierce resistance to the plan because of fears for jobs.
We have already experienced several coal-fired utilities, electric units that have already been forced to close.
One justification for this plan is that burning coal pollutes the air that people have to breathe. And the White House thinks that cleaning it up will make more sense to the American public than the longer-term problem of climate change. But as the world's largest economy, the aim is to lead the switch to cleaner forms of energy away from fossil fuels. And the hope is to break the deadlock in international talks on climate change ahead of a major summit next year. And that might be the legacy the President wants. The vision for a greener America is hugely divisive. President Obama failed to get the support of Congress, so he's now bypassed it. A signal, according to one former British advisor, that he is serious.
A president who's prepared to outflank Congress and therefore maybe produce more wrath on obstacles on other issues is saying this is a really serious issue that I personally am going to put political capital behind.
Some states will find it hard to move away from coal, and the battles over this are bound to drag on past President Obama's time in the White House. David Schuckman, BBC News.